A terrible morning for Donald Trump, and he's not handling it well. He's sending out messages like this. I am Donald Trump. Knock, knock. It's President Trump. I'm asking for you to make a small personal sacrifice right now. Please, there are only seconds until the window closes for my deadline. Answer Trump's plea for support. Donald Trump sees his approval absolutely plummeting, and he's quite literally begging his supporters to keep supporting him. Then Donald Trump posts the following. Very unfair media is at work on my meeting with Putin. Oh, very unfair media, Donald. He goes, constantly quoting fired losers and really dumb people like John Bolton. Pause. You mean your former national security advisor who was there when you met with Putin before? Okay. Who just said that even though the meeting is on American soil, Putin has already won. What's that all about? We are winning on everything. And he puts that all in caps. The fake news is working overtime. No tax on overtime. If I got Moscow and Leningrad free as part of the deal with Russia, the fake news would say that I made a bad deal! Exclamation point. Pause. Leningrad? What generation are you living in? Leningrad? You mean St. Petersburg? It hasn't been called Leningrad since 1991. Okay. He goes on to say, look at all the real news that's coming out about their corruption. They are sick and dishonest people who probably hate our country. But it doesn't matter because we are winning everything! Exclamation point, MAGA. In just a little bit, I'm going to show you what President Zelensky said during his press conference earlier this morning. No, Donald, but everyone believes that this is a total capitulation and surrender to Putin. Putin said he's not going to meet with you unless you agree that Ukraine needs to give up massive amounts of territory that Russia does not control. That's heavily fortified territory by Ukraine. Also, Russia has launched one of its biggest offensives in the East to date already in advance of this Friday meeting in order to show that they have no desire for peace. They want total surrender for Ukraine. And then, Donald, you've been attacking Zelensky and Ukraine pretty much every day leading up to the Friday meeting and praising Putin. You've been saying, I don't like that Ukraine's constitution says that they can't give up land. I don't like the way Zelensky's been handling the situation. He should never have let the war happen. Putin invaded Ukraine. What the hell are you talking about? By the way, I like how California Governor Gavin Newsom mocks Donald Trump by using that same style of writing. And here's what Newsom says. When Speaker Little Man Johnson is standing in the unemployment line, he can thank little Donald Taco J. Trump. Trump missed a simple deadline, something he has often done with his many failed businesses. Now California will fire him with new, more beautiful maps. Highly anticipated historic press conference with your favorite governor, Gavin Christopher Newsom. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Signed, GCN. You gotta mock Donald Trump like that. I do lots of videos explaining that's how you have to handle Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump and his regime, though, are making a mockery of the entire international community as well. You know, J.D. Vance is vacationing now in Cotswold, in England. This is after he vacationed at Disneyland and in San Diego. And then he went to Ohio, where he had the Army Corps of Engineers raise the level of the rivers there so that he could have a better kayaking experience. So now he's in Cotswold and in England. And J.D. Vance's security detail is demanding that the people in England, the people in Cotswold and the surrounding communities, turn over their social media accounts to J.D. Vance's security so J.D. Vance can vet them and see if they should be around him. Can't make this stuff up. The police are asking local Cotswold residents for their social media handles to be passed on to J.D. Vance's security detail. Glad to hear some people refuse. Honestly, the nerve of it, especially for the man who criticized Europe for censorship, says Mark Owen Jones. We asked the police knocking on our doors if they're protecting us or J.D. Vance. They were honest. We're protecting protecting Vance. We have had the police knocking on every door, said a dog walker and a nearby resident about what's taking place. They want the names of everybody and their social media handles that are by where Vance is vacationing. We also know that J.D. Vance shut down Disneyland as well. I mean, this guy is a true and total menace. Talking about true and total menaces as well. Do y'all remember Saddam Hussein's kids, Uday and Qusay? That's one of the staples of authoritarian familial regimes, Uday and Qusay. And remember how we used to like mock that in the United States and be like, oh my God, look at these dictators, look at these morons, look at these fascists, right? Well, now Donald Trump has his own Uday and Qusay, Eric and Don Jr. Don Jr. making posts about Donald Trump throwing green penises at WNBA players. I've covered that. That's what Don Jr. was doing yesterday. But now Donald Trump just reposts his sons. That's how Donald Trump shows that people support him. He reposts Eric Trump this morning. My father has a cabinet that is unparalleled. He's making America really proud. My daddy is making America proud, everybody. And then Don Jr. We hit rock bottom as a country. We know the people who are on our team. They are fighting together as one engine, and the results are incredible. Really? You think so? I mean, because I pretty much remember The Economist and the Wall Street Journal saying that the United States economy under former President Biden was the envy of the world. I also remember the inflation reports yesterday showing that inflation is surging past 3.1% core inflation year over the year. And now the new Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner, who Donald Trump brought in after firing a very competent and smart economist, Trump brought in an idiot authoritarian bootlicker, now says they're not going to put out inflation reports or they're not going to put out jobs reports anymore. They're just going to bury the data. By the way, it should be noted, I've talked about this before, in the inflation data, because Trump has fired all of the data people, we're not actually getting real inflation data anymore from the consumer price index of actual like prices of products. They're just doing estimates now. They're just guessing what it could possibly be because they no longer have the data people aggregating it. So it's just imputed. This is what they think it is. Because if you actually look industry by industry, you tell me, I think inflation right now is surging far higher than 3.1% right now. But the American people seem to get it. You know, here on CNN, they did a whole segment this morning about how Donald Trump's net approval on the issue of inflation is now negative 25. It was plus 9 during the election. Plus 9, Trump's. How could people fall for this shtick? I mean, even the plus 9, the guy's a lifelong fraud. He's a sexual abuser. He's a felon. The guy lies about everything. I mean, just the idea that America was like, yeah, this guy's going to fix it. The guy who bankrupted every business and screwed the workers. He's going to fix it. I mean, now it's negative 25. But how do you fall for this fraud? It's ridiculous that people buy this freaking snake oil salesman crap. Here, play this clip.
Really a huge piece of why the president was elected was to get a handle on cost of living. So how do Americans feel like he's doing?
Let me just say, this is an abject disaster. Abject disaster for the president of the United States. You mentioned it, Jessica. Look, voters on Trump and inflation. He won the 2024 election because he was more entrusted on inflation than Kamala Harris was, led by a margin of 9 points. Look at where his net approval stands today, though, on inflation. My goodness gracious. Into the gutter we go, underwater we go. He's 25 points underwater. My goodness gracious. That is where the Little Mermaid is, and he is matching the Little Mermaid. That's how far underwater he is on the issue that got him elected. He led on by 9 points on it last year, and now he's 25 points underwater. As I said, this is a complete and total disaster.
This episode of the MeidasTouch podcast is brought to you by Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions, in addition to their classic variety box. They recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking, since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. Now, my personal experience with Wild Grain has been incredible. I wouldn't steer you wrong. It's super convenient and all the products are high quality and super fresh. I cannot say enough good things about Wild Grain, and I know that you're going to love them as much as I do. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box for artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/Meidas to start your subscription.
And then Donald Trump ranting and raving like a lunatic this morning as well, posting photos of New York Attorney General Letitia James. And he goes, she's a disgrace. She's a disgrace. Meanwhile, you just take a look at the scenes from Washington, D.C. today. This is what it looks like with just National Guard just walking around Washington, D.C. Here are more photos of the National Guard walking around Washington, D.C. Let me go and talk about some international news very quickly as well. Right now, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel is, in addition to committing atrocities in Gaza, he's now admitting and conceding that the enriched uranium in Iran was not destroyed. And he goes, we're closely monitoring the situation with Washington, but the enriched uranium was never destroyed. But Donald told us that it was total obliteration. I thought it was total obliteration, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe when we reported here at the MeidasTouch Network and others reported, and we showed you those satellite images, that there wasn't total obliteration. Maybe we should have believed our own eyes rather than the propaganda that Trump and Netanyahu were spewing at first. Iran's nuclear weapons, capability of making nuclear weapons remain, while Donald Trump has basically removed the sanctions against them. So he's emboldened Iran. Great work. Our European allies now have to figure out if they're going to renew sanctions on Iran. So Europe is actually working seriously on that. You have Vladimir Putin speaking with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, bragging, boasting about the trip to Alaska that Putin will be taking on Friday. And in terms of where this meeting will be taking in Alaska, don't worry, folks. It's not going to happen in Camp David, where Trump invited the Taliban to, the first on the anniversary of 9/11. Yes, Donald Trump invited the Taliban to go to Camp David on the anniversary of 9/11. Don't worry. That's not what is happening here. Trump will be meeting Putin, though, at a U.S. military base in Anchorage. The American and Russian presidents will meet face-to-face at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Alaska on Friday. I don't know, Donald, maybe you should have just went to Leningrad. Now, finally, here's President Zelensky's presser from earlier today where he says, I told Trump and our European allies Putin is bluffing. He's trying to push before the Alaska meetings on all directions on the front. Zelensky's talking about the Eastern Front, where Putin has escalated matters right now in the invasion of Ukraine. This is his wish. He does not want peace. Y'all are showing weakness to Putin right now, and he's exploiting that with this push on the Eastern Front of the war, of the invasion. Let's play the clip.
Told President Trump and all our European allies, Putin is bluffing. He's trying to push before the Alaska meeting on all directions of our front line. Russia wants to occupy the whole of Ukraine. This is his wish. And Putin is bluffing that sanctions is nothing and they don't work. In fact, sanctions are hitting Russian war economy hard. It's true. Russia has a lot of weapons, many times over than we have. Artillery, let's say, for three times more. But they sustaining 3 times more losses. And I said about it to our European friends, to President Trump, that Putin definitely does not want peace. He wants to occupy Ukraine. And we all understand that Putin cannot fool anyone. We need future and further pressure and European and American sanctions against Russia. And together, our union of partners can stop war of Putin's. We spoke about the Alaska summit. We hope that the central topic will be the ceasefire, immediate ceasefire. President Trump was mentioning it many times. He suggested that after the Alaska meeting, we will have a contact and we'll discuss all the results, if there will be results, and we'll decide our next common steps.
There you have it, folks. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers together.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.